Welcome to the Cryptonomatron. Today I'm doing an ICO review on BlocNation. Now the reason BlocNation is quite important is it's the first decentralized initial coin offering, and it's the first coin offering on the Komodo platform. Now if you're aware of my news videos, I did mention this briefly before, bringing it to your attention, but now they've kicked off with the bounty campaign. The ICO is only 10 days away or so. So I thought it's about time that I do a proper full review on the project, as I promised I would. So here it is. If you're wondering exactly what BlocNation do, they are they're going to offer a decentralized payment service, peer-to-peer payment service, with a focus on events and concerts, parties, that type of thing, which their partners, PouchNation, are already involved with. So let's take a closer look, starting off with the competition, and begin the review. So first of all, when I was looking through different competitors, there was this article that came to my attention about blockchain technology for event management and ticketing, exactly what PouchNation already offer and what they want to implement for blockchain technology to develop blockchain, their counterpart. So again, this article is quite interesting. I'll post a link to it below if you want to read it. Basically, it's just covering why blockchain matters and why it is important to the event industry. Ticketing means you can obviously track attendance, scan tickets a lot easier. You can implement different types of biometric technology as well, such as facial recognition, that type of thing. So interesting article. I'll leave a link to it below. And then, of course, there are the competitors that we have to mention. The first one that I found was this BlocTix, which is a platform to connect event organizers with an incentivized community on a tokenized ecosystem. So very similar to what BlocNation are proposing. Another interesting competitor I found while Googling was Guts. Guts is honest ticketing. They use blockchain technology to create this transparent ticketing ecosystem, and of course that eliminates fraud and ticket touting and that type of thing. So that's quite important. Transparency is a big area that current event management and ticketing really needs to have a look at, and of course blockchain hopefully will be able to fill that void. Probably the biggest competitor that I've come across is Aventus. Aventus is another blockchain for ticketing, open source protocol that delivers global standard for ticketing, so they claim, and they permit rights holders to define rules across the ticketing supply chain, which includes promoters, venues, primary, secondary agents, to which everybody has to adhere. So Aventus is a fairly new project, I believe. You can see the website's very nice indeed. The token is AVT, and let's have a look, see what it's actually doing on CoinMarketCap. So there it is there, and it is at currently just over 85 cents, just over 13,000 Satoshi at the moment. Suffered a little bit due to the bear market. Very, very low circulating supply, very low total supply of only 10 million AVT, and the market cap is still extremely low at just over $5 million. But there's quite a decent bit of volume going through in the last 24 hours, around 488 Ethereum. So quite interesting little token here. Let us take a look at the markets. Now it's available in quite a few exchanges. No real major ones though. OKX probably the biggest one. And hit BTC as well. Historical data, let's see its all-time high just very briefly. So all-time, let's have a look. So currently at just over 85 cents. It has been a lot higher. It's been over $2 there. Even higher than that, $2.70, over $3, $4 indeed. All-time high of around $8.31, so that's pretty impressive. So if you can see here, that's got a potential to go back where it was. It's got a potential to do a 10x from here, I would imagine, if indeed the project's being maintained. Now, I don't know a lot about it. I'm just bringing it to your attention as a competitor for BlocNation. So there we are. So the pain points, the problems they want to solve are focused on the payment system mostly, and the fact that most people, or quite a lot of people, are still unbanked. Now, they're based in Southeast Asia, so that's the market they're targeting. So this is these problems are not unique to Southeast Asia, but more prevalent in Southeast Asia than other places in the world. So for the consumer, there's less than 10% credit card adoption rates on average across Southeast Asia. Obviously, in countries like Thailand, it's a lot higher than it is in, say, Cambodia or even Vietnam. And 70% of the population, they say, are still unbanked across the board. I would say that's probably correct. There's not a lot of people using bank accounts in Cambodia, in Myanmar and other Southeast Asian nations. Again, Thailand the exception. Thailand is a little bit more advanced and a little bit more economically developed than some of the other countries. So there's also cumbersome and fragmented alternative payment solutions that aren't really useful. Mostly everybody deals in cash. There's also limited opportunities to participate in capital gains, and onerous verification processes exclude the masses from traditional banking facilities. So, you know, a lot of people, especially in rural areas, don't have access to banking facilities, banking services. Again, Thailand's the exception. There are relatively no unbanked people in Thailand whatsoever. But certainly if you look at Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, those nations, yes, there are a lot of people that are excluded simply because you know, they don't fit the criteria or they can't get themselves verified. So from the merchant side, though, there are other problems. Credit card acceptance rates are still very low amongst small medium enterprises. There are high fees for credit cards. It's a bit of a frustrating process, and infrastructure costs are quite high as well. There's also quite a large or a high prevalence of customer-initiated chargebacks if you are a merchant using credit cards as well. There's also potential for graft and fraud amongst employees. About 10% of revenue leakage within the events and ticketing space, they claim. Hurdles are also linked to cash management and reporting, and there's a lack of consumer behavior data and analytics available. Plus, cross-border payment limitations hinder sales volume, especially in the events and ticketing industry. So those are the problems that they are looking to solve. Let's see what their aims are and how they're going to go about it. So they're already serving Southeast Asia with a company called PouchNation, and they are basically an events management company. They deal with events from 3,000 to 150,000 people across the region, and they are focused on technology solutions. So hence they are eager to get the blockchain involved and incorporate a blockchain tokenized ecosystem. But their goal is basically to bank the unbanked, if you like, to have a platform, an app, a mobile app that people can pay for their goods and services, and also third-party services as well, with the token, the blockchain app, the BlocNation app, sorry, and the BNTN token, cryptocurrency. So that's the way it's basically going to work. They are focused in Southeast Asia, as I mentioned before, but they do have ambition and an eye on maybe you know, expanding throughout the world if they get it right in this neck of the woods. So let's now move on and look at the market. So Southeast Asia is their market, and the reason they're excited about it is because it's experiencing quite rapid GDP per capita growth. Less so in Thailand. It's been hampered by a military government recently and other economic issues that they're having. But some of the other less developed countries, such as Cambodia, Laos, and even Myanmar, are experiencing very high growth year on year. So it's an exciting market to get involved in, especially when you're bringing them services such as digital payment services that are traditionally not really found in these areas. And that's a thing that you have to bear in mind, that they are pretty new. But Southeast Asia is very accepting of new technology and very eager to actually implement a lot of new technology as well. In Thailand, they're trying to promote this Thailand 4.0, which is all about the digital economy and bringing Thailand into the 21st century economically, so it can be on par with developed countries economically. So it's there is a focus on the digital economy in a lot of these countries, and of course digital payments will fit the bill. And if we look here, there is a massive growth opportunity in digital payments in Southeast Asia. You can see there 15 to 27% growth per annum, and there's still quite a low credit card penetration as well, which means if a service can come along and replace the traditional credit card payment services, or even bring those people that would be interested in having a credit card, for example, onto their payment platform, then the sky's the limit. And you've already got other payment services setting up in particular in Thailand, but other Southeast Asian countries as well, like the ICO. You may have heard of them. They've got several large businesses behind them, including McDonald's. They're trialing in 300, I think, McDonald's branches countrywide. So there is a clamour now for digital payment services in Southeast Asia. So I think it's a very, very good and potentially lucrative market to be involved in the current time. So this project is being built on the Komodo platform, which immediately piqued my interest about it. I like Komodo. Komodo is a proof of work consensus algorithm coin, as you're probably aware. It's currently quite high up in the big scheme of things. So basically how it works is you will use the BlocNation app, you will purchase BlocNation tokens, and then you can pay for the event that you're going to attend using the tokens. You'll get a wristband with an RFID chip that will be updated to basically let people know when they scan it that you've paid for the event, and you can enter. Now, if you do have any leftover balance, you can claim it back. The great thing about this system is it is completely transparent. It is completely anonymous as well, so there's no forms to fill in. But every time you go and book an event these days, or you apply for something online, you've got to put all your information in. They want to know everything. But the great thing about this is it'll be completely anonymous. You download the app, you can pay for the tickets, that's the way it'll work. And then you can collect the wristband even when you attend the venue. You don't even have to get it mailed to you. So it also cuts down on chargebacks and all the issues that paying in fiat currency or with current digital methods like credit cards, debit cards poses at the moment. So yeah, very interesting and worthwhile use case, I would say, for the blockchain, and especially for a tokenized system as well. The tokens actually have a real use case here. So this project is going to provide different benefits and different incentives to event goers, event producers, and also the venues as well. Those that manage the sales, like the merchants, and also for traders and investors in the cryptocurrency itself. So let's discuss them one by one. So start off with the event goers. Well, you'll be able to use the app to search for events. You'll be able to credit your account with the token, and you'll be able to pay with the BNTN token. So you can book an event, say a concert or party or whatever, book the tickets, and you will get a lower cost if you do use the token. So that is the incentive to actually purchase and utilize the BNTN token. There will be e-ticketing, obviously, on the BlocNation app, and you will also receive your wristband, which has, I believe it has RFID information in it, via email or via mail, sorry, and or at the event entrance when you rock up. So that's pretty much how it works if you're just going to use it to book your tickets. If you're an event producer, however, you can offer your ticket sales with the tokenized option to sell in the BlocNation token. You can also receive increased sales, and less revenue will be lost from chargebacks, because again, it's not we're not accepting Visa or MasterCard here, and you can basically be assured that the tokenized system is transparent and works properly. There'll be instant verification of sales. There will be an e-ticket exchange as well. There's a closed-loop cashless payment ecosystem. Cashback offered via the BlocNation app, which is interesting because you obviously have to have some way of, incentivizing and also giving refunds, etc. And then there will be revenue received in BNTN, which you'll be able to exchange back for fiat currency as well, because people need to get paid in fiat. Unfortunately, we still have a requirement for traditional payment methods. So as far as merchants are concerned, well, you can conduct your sales via the PouchNation cashless payment solution, which is already up and running. You can report your sales to the producer and venue really easily. And again, as I just mentioned, you can be paid in BlocNation token or in fiat currency after everything's done and dusted. As far as traders and investors, and that would be myself or yourself if you're investing in this cryptocurrency or this ICO, you can receive the BlocNation token in the BlocNation app. You can hodl, as they say here, and you can also perform atomic and atomic swaps. And not sure what the difference is between those two, but atomic swaps basically mean pretty much instant and free transfer of cryptocurrencies on that decentralized exchange barter DEX that I mentioned earlier. You can also acquire tickets and top up on your PouchNation community, and you can use the token as a purchase method for other dICOs or decentralized ICOs when they launch on the Komodo platform. So I'm happy to report there are no scam warnings or red flags surrounding this ICO at all. Everything looks legitimate, and the company behind it, PouchNation, is already registered in Southeast Asia. They have offices around, I believe they've got one in Bangkok, head offices in Singapore. So they've already run numerous successful events. So they're an established company already. So yeah, all looking good. So the ICO will kick off on April the 17th, so we're just over 10 days away, I believe. Maximum or total supply is 500 million BNTN tokens. There will be 200 million or 40% up for grabs at a price of around 15 cents per token, giving a total market cap of about 30 million US dollars. So that's fairly high, I would say, for a project of this nature. They will be accepting Litecoin, Qtum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course Komodo during the ICO as well. So just to give you an idea, there is a different pricing tier. 50 million tokens will be available at 14 cents if you pay in Komodo. 50 million will be available at 16 cents, and then the price will increase to 18 cents. The distribution is as follows. For purchase, as I mentioned before, 200 million, so that's 40% of the total. There will be 25% held in an incentive reserve. There will be 18% available for the team, that's 90 million tokens. There's also master nodes as well, so 10% will be allocated for masternodes, that's 40 million BNTN. 5% will be given to the advisors, and 2% will be allocated to the bounty campaign, which I'll cover very briefly in a minute. So the bounty campaign now and BlocNation are having an airdrop. They're giving away 2 million BNTN tokens if you register and follow them on Telegram. Very easy to do. You need to download the Komodo Agama wallet though, and that takes a couple of minutes, but it's not really that frustrating a process compared to some of the wallets that are out there anyway. So if you've not already got a Komodo wallet, download that and then register and get your free tokens. So the blockchain bounty campaign just went live a couple of days ago. They are giving away 2% of the tokens in total, which is fairly generous. And obviously, this is going to build hype behind the platform as well, which is going to be good news. So the tokens are roughly valued at 16 cents per token, and that means there's about 1.6 million US dollars up for grabs, which is very, very generous. Now it's broken down as follows, and there will be 2 million BNTN tokens available for the Telegram campaign. The Twitter campaign will have 1 million BNTN tokens. There is a Bitcointalk signature and avatar campaign that will have 1.5 million tokens allocated to it. There will be blog posts and articles campaign with 1 million BNTN tokens, and then an additional bounty pool held in reserve, which is to be confirmed in the future, of 4.5 million BNTN tokens. So any bounties that are not distributed will be allotted to a new post-ICO bounty program. And there you are. There are detailed instructions of what you need to do. For example, here's the Telegram one. You can get your share by following the instructions, completing the activities, and then making the application by the due date. So nice and easy. It's all well presented. The link to it is on the website, but I'll also leave a link to the bounty campaign below and also to the airdrop as well. I will use the white paper roadmap for this section. It's easier to follow and it's quite simplified. First of all, we've already established a partnership with Komodo. They've already launched the white paper a few days ago, the latest version of it. It was available before though, I think, and they've launched the website on March the 30th. So we've already established all that's been done. Links to the white paper and the website are obviously in the description below. We know the crowd sale is going to happen on April the 17th, so prepare for that if you want to get involved. But the forthcoming Block app launch will happen sometime in the second quarter of 2018, and shortly after that the first atomic or atomic swaps will take place. There will be announcements regarding exchange listings in the second quarter of 2018, not shortly after the ICO is complete. And then the first PouchNation event management will be announced in the second quarter of 2018 as well. The first execution with PouchNation, cashback via block only, will happen in the second quarter of 2018, and then the Southeast Asia regional expansion plan will be announced in the third quarter of 2018. Continuing on this, the same vein, in the third quarter of 2018, they will announce expansion into Venue Vertical, and there will be, interestingly enough, masternodes announcement in the third quarter of 2018 as well. Something to be aware of, and definitely something that is going to increase the value of this token as well. And then in fourth quarter of 2018, there will be the first venue execution on the BlocNation platform. There will be a business plan announcement in early 2019, and they will start to announce a new territory expansion plan as well. So all very exciting, and not long to wait to see any any developments. We will see the Block app launch very soon after the ICO is complete, and also interestingly the master nodes as well, which I'm particularly looking forward to. So let's quickly look at the team now, and as you can see, there are 4 core team members. Graham's the CEO, Gino's the COO, Winnie is the CFO, and Ben Fairbanks, Senior Advisor. Now, if we look at their different LinkedIns, let's start with Graham. He is the CEO. He's based in the Philippines already. He's been involved with EasyTouch Pte Limited, which is a Singapore-based company, and he's also been the Chief Marketing Officer for PouchNation, which is the partner of BlocNation themselves. Looking at Gino again is based in the Philippines. He is the Chief Operating Officer for BlocNation. Previously, or still is, working with PouchNation as well as their Chief Legal Officer, and he's been involved in other lawyers and legal firms previously. Winnie is based in Singapore. She's the Chief Financial Officer at BlocNation. She's also been involved with EasyTouch Pte Limited previously, and some other Singaporean businesses too. Interesting one is Ben Fairbank. He is basically General Manager at Komodo, so he claims. He's worked for Grab before, and some other smaller startups as well. So he's an interesting guy, and is obviously the contact with Komodo. So there are another couple of advisors not mentioned on the website, but they are in the white paper. Thomas Gorison, he's the technology advisor. He's a web platform consultant and event organizer. Prasad Vanga is the founder and CEO at Anthill. Ruben Yap, I've heard of him before. He is Chief Operating Officer at Zcoin. He's involved in an advisory capacity. And Jay Fajardo is the CEO and Chief Technical Officer at ProudCloud, also CEO at Launch Garage as well, and CTO at Medify too. Following up is Matt Francis. He's also on the advisory board. He's General Manager at Linwen Concepts. So They are planning to announce more team members in the future. There is a lack of developers on this team, and that should be a little bit of a cause for concern. They have only 3 core members and quite a few advisors, so they really need to get some blockchain developers to implement this project, I believe. So the partnerships are obviously with Komodo. The Komodo platform is the blockchain that this is being built on, but they've also got other partners. They are partnered with PouchNation, and that will give them access to the cashless payment services and also the clients that PouchNation have already got for their event management business and ticketing business. They are also partnered with Vietnam backpacker hostels. They've only got 5 properties across Vietnam, but it shows that they're picking up some clients already. And you can pay for your backpacker hostel using the BNTN token when the app gets launched. Another interesting partner is Zcoin as well, which is if you don't know what it is, it's a decentralized and open source cryptocurrency that's it's a privacy coin, basically. It offers some privacy features as well. So that's an interesting partnership. ProudCloud as well, a full stack development firm, they say here. I've never heard of them before, but they are building web and mobile technologies. And then Launch Garage as well. I noted one of the advisors is involved with them. And they are a hub for founders, distributors, hackers, makers, designers, investors, and change makers. So very interesting spread of partnerships. So let's just quickly look at PouchNation, as they seem to be the main partner involved with this project. And as you can see, Asia's cashless payment and brand activations solution. And there's the RFID wristbands that I was talking about earlier. Now, they've already got revenue coming in. They are active in 9 countries. They have done over 25 million Sing dollars worth of business with over 2 million transaction records and 30 million data points collected. So they're the leading cashless payment and brand activation provider in Southeast Asia, so they claim. I'll leave a link to the website below. It's quite interesting. If you find out more about what sort of business and how they're going to do their business, it's always good to look at the partners, I think, especially those that are intimately involved with these blockchain projects, and in particular this ICO. So you can see some of the events that they've put on already. Good Vibes Music Festival there, Invasive Music Festival, Colour in the Park. I'm getting too old for all that crap, guys. I just sit in the pub and drink beer. But of course, I know a lot of you will be interested, and many of you will have attended some of these events. And just scrolling down, you can see the countries that are involved in are Singapore, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. So I'll leave a link to PouchNation below as well. So community support behind this project is reasonable. It's not great by any standards of the imagination, and you really need that to improve before and during the ICO, because again, I always reiterate, projects are largely hype driven, and especially in such a new technology such as blockchain, and with the cryptocurrency space, there's a lot of projects that rely solely on hype. So you can have great fundamentals, but if you've got no hype behind it, then you're going to struggle. And BlocNation need more support. So they're only active on Instagram, Telegram, Twitter, as you can see there, so they could really do with a little bit more community support on this project to make them a little bit more well-known, and also engage with the community a bit more as well. I did post a couple of questions on Telegram a couple of hours ago, and they've still not been answered, so there's not much support. They need to do better. The Telegram group's only got a shade over 6,000 members on it at the moment, and the Twitter followers amount to 711, which is a paltry amount for a project of this nature. Now, they're trying to raise $30 million here, so they need to do better on social media. It's as simple as that, no question about it. They need to have some dedicated guys that are out there on social media building up the community for them, and hopefully the bounty campaign has just started a couple of days ago. Hopefully that will go some way in improving this hype behind the project and also the community support. But again, if I was marking this down on a report card, I would say this is a D+, more effort required. Okay, it's verdict time again, folks, and first off with the positives for BlocNation. Well, number one is they have an established business, PouchNation, already bringing in revenue, and they've already been successful. They've run events. They know the sector that they're getting involved with here. It's not a stranger to them, so they know how to apply the blockchain technology, and they know what they want, so that is definitely a positive in my opinion. Number two, cashless payment systems are a big market, and especially for event services, that type of thing, and this could be quite disruptive to the industry as a whole. Number three, partners and clients are going to benefit this project. I think the fact that they've already got a couple of clients on board and the existing business already has clients is definitely going to be a positive for this project. And as well, the partners they have already launched projects before, and they're already involved in development of cryptocurrencies and tokenized ecosystems, that type of thing. So the partnerships here will definitely benefit the project as well. Number four, masternodes will definitely add value to this project. People like using masternodes for residual income, and this will be no different as well. It will be interesting when they announce just the how many tokens you're going to need to hold to be eligible to host a masternode. But again, all masternode projects seem to have a little spurt in growth when the masternodes are closer to launch. Number five, a big benefit in my opinion is that it's on the Komodo platform, so it's the first decentralized ICO. It basically is going to generate interest simply because it's on the Komodo platform, not only because of the benefits that Komodo will bring to the project, such as the security aspects and some of the other technological aspects like atomic or atomic swaps, and also the decentralized exchange barter decks, etc. It's just going to generate interest because people will have an eye on it being the first project on this platform. Number six, and I see this as another definite positive, there isn't much competition in this space now. You would think that blockchain technology can do a lot of disruption within the event management and ticketing space, and there just isn't that much competition. I mentioned, I think the biggest competitor was Aventus earlier on, and they've got a market cap of just over $5 million, ridiculously small. So there's not much competition here, and if these guys can deliver, then the sky's the limit, really. And again, just to back up what I'm saying there, this is an underappreciated sector for disruption due to the blockchain technology. Not a lot of people are thinking about event management or ticketing as being that important, or this being that disruptive, but it certainly will be. Number eight, this is a fairly low token price. 15, 16 cents is pretty low. It gives you room for your investment to grow as well in the future. And number nine, it's a fairly short roadmap. We're not going to have to wait too long before we see things happening, and that's good for investors. Now, as usual, there are negatives, and this project is no exception. I sound like a broken record saying that every time, but that's the truth. Number one is they don't have any blockchain technology implemented, I believe, as yet. I didn't see an MVP. There's no demo. I did ask on the Telegram group, but they were non-responsive. So I have to assume that the blockchain technology is not yet implemented. They don't have any developers on the team either, which is another negative we'll get to in a minute. But we really like to see, as investors, we'd like to see some technology being implemented, and as such, I believe that they're only relying on the existing PouchNation software application that they already have as the sort of MVP for this project. Number two, another thing that was a bit surprising to me is the high hard cap of $30 million. Now that's pretty high for a project of this nature. $30 million is a lot of money to raise, and they've already got existing revenue. My question would be, why do you need to raise that amount of money? It's pretty high. Three, it's not defined what will happen if there's unsold tokens. Again, I asked on the Telegram, but no response. So do the unsold tokens get burned, or do they go back into the ecosystem and held in reserve as an incentive for new users? We don't know. Number four, there's a distinct lack of hype behind this project. I find that surprising. I know that Crypto Daily's mentioned it on his show a few weeks ago, and I've also mentioned it in one of my news videos earlier on. last month. So, you know, but there's still a lack of hype behind it. I'm surprised it hasn't actually built up the hype that I expected it to have by this stage. There's still time. You know, we're 10 days away from the ICO and the bounty campaign's just begun, but I'm still surprised at the lack of hype behind this. And number 5, there's poor community support and engagement. Again, I asked a couple of questions on Telegram and still no answer as far as I'm aware. So, you know, they really need to do better in terms of engaging with the community, because that's the only way you're going to build community support, and that's the only way that these investments are going to succeed, is through hype at the current moment. That's just the nature of the market. Fundamentals don't really matter that much. And number 6, again, I just mentioned it earlier, the team has no developers yet. Doesn't seem like they've got any software developers or any people in charge of driving this project forward as far as the blockchain is concerned. So that's a concern for me as an investor. The one guy they do have that's involved with the Komodo platform is there on an advisory capacity, I believe, only, but they really need to hire some devs. I did notice that some of the funds that they raise from the ICO will be allocated to hiring new team members. So that's something, but really, you know, you need developers working on this already before you start launching your ICO. Number 7, there's limited info on the advisory body. The advisors are listed in the white paper, but there's, again, limited information on any of them. Some of them I couldn't find on LinkedIn. So they really need to get the website updated and let us know who these people are that are involved with this project. And number 8, another negative in my opinion, success of this BlocNation will depend entirely on how many events are successfully processed through the app. Now, yes, they are a cashless payment service, and that can be applied to many, many other sectors, but initially they're going to rely on the event management and the ticketing business that they've already established. So success of this BlocNation is going to depend entirely on how many events go through the app and how many companies are willing to use a tokenized system. And some may well be reluctant to use that at such an early stage of the technology. We'll just need to wait and see. But in my opinion, it is a negative going forward. But hopefully a lot of companies will adopt it, and that won't be much of an issue. So let's look at the potential gains now. We're in a pretty bearish market still, unfortunately, and that's going to continue till at least mid-May, in my opinion. I've already said why, because of Consensus 2018 launching on May the 14th. I think that's going to start a more positive outlook for cryptocurrency in general. But until then, I think we're going sideways and down, as I've already mentioned many times. So I think in an ultra bearish market such as this, it may even hit exchanges lower. So you might want to hang off and pick it up on exchanges at the current moment. But again, you know, by the time this launches on exchanges, we could be in a more positive market environment, and you would have missed your chance. Again, it's all about doing what you think is the right thing at the right time. And again, I think in a bearish market as well, this could be better picked up on exchanges. I don't see any immediate gains being made in a bearish environment. There's too many ICOs launching at the moment. There's too many projects. There's a dilution of people's wealth at the moment. The market cap is very low, hanging around 250, 260 billion in total. And I just don't see any traction for any coins or tokens at launch in this environment. But however, if we do switch to a bullish environment, I can see this project doing particularly well. I can see a 5x return from this project in a bullish environment, simply because I think, you know, it's got a relatively low supply, token prices relatively low, around 14 to 16 cents. And, you know, I think there's some traction here because this is a good project with decent fundamentals. And, you know, I think if they can implement and get some of the events run on this platform, then it could do very, very well indeed. And as such, you know, I can see it going on exchanges with a market capitalization of maybe around 12 to $20 million, I would say, when it launches on exchanges. So there's no reason why this can't do a 15x in a pretty, you know, permanently bullish market. So for flipping, again, I'll just reiterate what I said. In a bear market, no chance, but in a bull market, definitely. So you've got to decide when this is going to launch on exchanges after this ICO is complete, you know, what the market sentiment is going to be like. And for hodling, I think this is a better opportunity for the longer term. I think this has got the potential to do a 5 to 15x. And again, this has got good technology behind it. It's got the decentralized exchange barter DEX. You'll be able to exchange it there, and you'll also be able to utilize atomic swaps, which a lot of people will be interested to do, because a lot of people haven't even utilized that technology yet. So it's something that's very, very new and exciting. So, final verdict time. What do I actually think about this ICO? Well, I like this ICO for a number of reasons. I'm pretty bullish on this ICO. There you go. And what do I think of it? Well, I should Komodo. I might invest in this ICO. I like it. Again, it's it's a bit of a bearish market at the moment, so you might not get immediate returns. As I said, might not be good if you're looking to flip, but certainly medium longer term, I think this provides quite a good opportunity for investment. It doesn't have much competition. It's an under disrupted sector that the blockchain can make a big difference to, and they've already got existing business as well. They're established already in event management and ticketing, so it's something that I think has good potential for the future, and I'm giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars overall. What do you think of this project? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Every little bit helps, guys. Let's make the channel grow. And if you've got any questions, just ask me. I'll try and answer all the comments as we go through. So, as usual, just leaves me to say my usual disclaimer that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is purely for entertainment purposes only. And if you're going to invest in ICOs, please bear in mind they do pose inherent risk, especially in the current market, and only invest what you can afford to lose, guys, and invest wisely, invest cautiously, always do your own due diligence, always do your own research. Don't listen to YouTubers if they're shilling coins, guys, because that's the worst thing you can do and the easiest way to get wrecked as well. So pay attention. Learn yourself, find out whether you like the project and it's good for you, and then make your decision based on all the factors, all the information you've got at hand. Yeah, that's it for me for today. I'll be back later with another ICO review, I believe. There's quite a few interesting ones coming out at the moment, and I'm always trying to pick out some unusual ones to bring you guys, not just following the herd of ICO reviewers and influencers. So, trying to pick out some different ones that maybe haven't been covered or are not on people's radar. So, yeah, if you want me to review anything, leave a comment in the comments below, and I will try and get round to it.